He might not be Cam Ward, but it's a big time pickup for the University of Miami. Mario Cristobal has done it again. He has recruited another big time quarterback. If it's just for 1 year, it's just for 1 year. It's his job to find a freshman and at a high school who can become the future at the quarterback position. But right now, it is replaced for 1 year and let the chips fall where they may. Mario Cristobal has successfully gotten Carson Beck to transfer to the University of Miami 2 days after he declared for the portal. He will be a Hurricane, so I presume he will be down in Miami by the end of this month. This is a big time pickup for the University of Miami, a needed pickup. Let's talk about it. But before we start, welcome back everyone to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Coming Down the Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, and we talk facts over feelings. If you are new to this channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow. And of course, if you like the content, please do comment. Hey, good or bad, like the video. I'd love it. Definitely want more subscribers. I greatly appreciate y'all. And for those of you coming back, again, I appreciate y'all continued support of the channel. Let's talk about this. So this is a big time pickup for Mario Cristobal and Miami Hurricanes. He's not Cam Ward. Look, Cam Ward, you didn't know what you were getting with Cam Ward. Cam Ward was 6-6 a year earlier at Washington State, but you saw when you surrounded Cam Ward with some talent what he could do. And I think the reality is it's the same thing with Carson Beck. Now, the University of Georgia did not have the type of season they would have liked to. And some of it could be attributed to Carson Beck. He did not have the same season he had a year earlier when Georgia was undefeated and then lost in the SEC championship to Alabama, and then got left out of the playoff and ended up playing Florida State in the Orange Bowl and beat Florida State 63-3 against an FSU team that had everyone basically declare and leave. But Carson Beck was a really, really good quarterback 2 years ago at Georgia. I mean, he threw for almost 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, a 167 QB rating, 72.4% completion percentage in 14 games. I mean, he has an overall career record of 24-3. He was a part of 2 national championship teams. This will be his 6th year of college football. So he's an older quarterback, just like Cam Ward was. And early on, there were thoughts that he was a first round pick this year, but things didn't pan out the way he would have hoped. He did have a good season overall, throwing for 3,485 yards, 64.7 completion percentage, 28 touchdowns, but the interceptions did go up to 12. And they lost 3 games. Now, he didn't lose the game against Notre Dame. He was injured. His arm got messed up, torqued against Texas in the SEC championship. And at that time, they were struggling versus Texas. The backup comes in, helps lead them to a victory. The defense really did most of the work, and they win the SEC championship to get the number 2 seed. But with the same quarterback, they got run off the field by Notre Dame. Would that have been the case with Beck in the lineup? We will never know. We will never know. However, Georgia did have struggles this year offensively. They got mud stomped by Ole Miss 28-10. They lost that game to Alabama where they were down by 30 or whatever it was. Came back, made a huge comeback, took the lead, only to give it right back. And Beck, I believe, if I recall correctly, threw an interception in the end zone at the end of the game. But we gotta look at this from a larger lens. The University of Georgia this year did not have the weapons on offense that they had the year before. They lost Brock Bowers, who is as good a tight end as there has ever been in college football. Heck, he proved it by being an all-world tight end in the NFL, catching over 100 passes, more than 1,000 yards for the Raiders this year. He's an absolutely elite tight end, a major safety security blanket for any level of quarterback. So when you look at the weapon difference they had at Georgia, it was really, really there was a big difference. The Georgia receivers this year dropped 36 passes, which led Division I college football. If you just add 36 to his 290, And I'm not saying that everyone catches every pass, but let's say you add all 36, and now you divide that by 448. He's back to 72.7% completion percentage. Now, let's make it 28 plus 290, and they drop 8 balls instead of 36 balls. Divided by 448, you're still at a 71% completion percentage. So you see there's a difference in the numbers just based on the drop balls that were happening at Georgia this season. That's huge for any quarterback. A quarterback cannot escape his wide receivers dropping passes. It's his job to put the ball there, their job to catch it. If they don't catch it, that he can't do anything about it. Like, that's just the reality. He can't do anything about it. So when you look at it from that lens, Carson Beck is still a very good quarterback. Now, he did have an injury. He had surgery on his elbow for Tommy John. Basically, it was Tommy John surgery for baseball players when his arm got hit against Texas. But consider this. Georgia beat Texas twice. He was the QB that whipped Texas in Austin 30-15. So this guy still wins plenty of games. Miami is going through, again, trying to find guys to fill spots. What's going to happen at wide receiver? They got guys, Isaiah Horton leaves. Xavier Restrepo is gone. Jacoby George is gone. But they have a core of young buck talented receivers who are coming back. There's going to be transfer wide receivers for the Miami Hurricanes. Yeah, Miami's got some good guys coming back. I mean, JoJo Trader's going to be a big-time player for them this year. He has to step up immediately. I mean, he played a bunch in the bowl game. You also have Ray Joseph, who's going to be a big contributor this year for them. So there's going to be young guys that are going to have to step up. There's weapons. There's absolutely weapons for the Miami Hurricanes. So don't get it twisted that Miami doesn't have wide receiver weapons. Miami always has weapons. It's just a matter of getting them the ball. And people always in the past would always say, oh, well, there's issues, blah, blah, blah. Or we don't have the talent. No, we always have talent at Miami, man. We have to stop that narrative. There's always talent in Miami. It's just a matter of having the talent in the right position. Offensive line wise, they need to have their offensive line be good. If their offensive line is good and Carson Beck has time to throw, it's going to be big. I mean, I don't know yet if Damian Martinez has declared for the draft. I don't know if he has. He may have. Has he declared? I don't know if he's. Oh yeah, he declared. He declared a week ago. Okay, so I missed that. I missed that. He declared. So he's gone. But they're gonna have Mark Fletcher will be back. He's gonna be a junior. So you are gonna have Mark Fletcher back in the fold. So Miami's gonna have Fletcher and Jordan Lyle coming back. So those are the 1-2 punch. He's got running backs. He's got some receivers. He's a good quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. He's probably the best. I mean, if we want to be honest, he's probably the best transfer quarterback in the country. Like that's just reality. He's probably the best transfer QB in the. Now, let me take a look at where he was ranked second, I believe, in all transfers, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Yep, Carson Beck is ranked number 1, actually. He's ranked number 1 by 247. Number 1, and then John Mateer is ranked right behind him. And then Patrick Payton out of Florida State, who went to LSU. So Mateer is the other guy that Miami was looking at. Eric Singleton, receiver out of Georgia Tech, who went to Auburn. Now Damian Wilson's an edge rusher out of Georgia. Who is he projected? There's no crystal ball on him right now. Zachariah Branch and his brother Zion Branch, they chose to go to Georgia. They were looking at Miami. I really thought they would be end up in Miami. I thought that would have been a big time pickup. Georgia's obviously relying on the freaking with the young kid Stocker or whatever his name is. What the hell's his name? Georgia QB. I forgot his name. He played 1 game. Like who cares? Like, I don't know what his name is. He was okay. He wasn't that good. Like I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't stay at Georgia, to be honest. I get why he's coming down here. I think I think part of the reason was he probably was wanting to change the scenery. But beyond that, his girlfriend is Hanna Cavinder, plays for the University of my basketball team. So, I think that played a part in it that he wanted to be next to his girlfriend, and that's understandable. And anyone that calls him a simp because he wants to be around his girlfriend, like what's wrong with y'all folks? I mean, make that shit make sense. I've read that on some posts that people calling him a simp for wanting to come to Miami and be next to his girlfriend. I thought it was pretty obvious that he'd come to Miami if he transfer out of Georgia. I think the reality was because Gunnar Stockton was the backup. Obviously, he's going to be the starter next year. He's supposed to be competing with Ryan Puglisi, but I presume that Stockton will be the starter next season. But I think that Carson Beck probably would have been the starter had he gone back to Georgia. It would have been surprising if he wasn't. But you're at a certain point, you want to be next to your girlfriend. I get it. Trust me on that one. That's it's normal, folks. It's a normal situation to want to be next to your girl. It's perfectly normal and perfectly okay. So they're just looking at any of these other big time transfers. Miami has one wide receiver transfer that's coming down here so far. So I expect Miami to be okay at wide receiver. They just need to have a signal caller. And I don't think Emory Williams was the answer. Anyone of these Miami fans that was saying Emory Williams was give him a chance. Well, if you want to give him a chance, you can, but you better be prepared to go 7-5. Like, you better be prepared for 7-5, 6-6, 5-7. Because if you watched Emory Williams play the year he played, the one where he played against Florida State and blew his elbow out, Miami's offense couldn't move the ball. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. That's what's confusing to me by some people is like, are you really paying attention as to what's actually going on here? Or are you just hoping? And I get it. You're hoping. Miami has to develop a young quarterback. That's the only way you can create some level of consistency and get back to that old style where you were just pumping out quarterbacks one after the other, after the other. And that's not been the case when you go get Cam Ward for 1 year. Now you're going to go after Carson Beck for 1 year. I get it. I understand it. But Emory Williams is not that guy. Emory Williams is not that guy. Could Luke Fickell be that guy, or whatever his name is, the young kid out of Luke Nickel? Could he be that guy? Quite possibly. He could be that guy. But are you trying to start him as are you trying to start him as a freshman? Yeah, like that's where you have to decide. That's where it comes down to. Are you trying to start him as a freshman? I don't know. So we shall see there. Luke Fickell's the coach. But are you trying? I don't think you're trying to start him as a freshman. You want this guy to be behind somebody, learn something. And that's how you develop quarterbacks. Tossing them dudes in there as freshmen, typically a recipe for disaster. So the same thing in NFL. Toss him as a rookie, typically recipe for disaster. All that said, this is a massive pickup for Miami. Miami needed a quarterback. No question about it. Now we just have to see how we coach. Now they just have to see how they coach. And we know what a story that is in itself. But this is a big pickup for Miami. Big time. Welcome to the U, Carson Beck. I want to see that game that you put up 2 years ago where you had Georgia 13-1. That's what I want to see. And if you're 13-1, Miami's playing in the playoffs next year. And they have a schedule, including Notre Dame at the start of the season. They got Florida. They got a much better schedule, in my opinion, than they did this year. Let's see what happens. But that's it. Carson Beck to the U. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell. This is Rudy's Rant. We talk facts over feelings. Come on now.